Alright, guys, to start off this week, I've got another Who the F*** Said That? So back to the old ways, hey? Alright, the day my father Odin banished me from Asgard, I was bitten by a vampire and had radioactive waste dumped into my eyes. To make matters worse, my mutant ability to control weather activated just as I was hit by a blast of gamma radiation. Who the f*** said that?
See, that's interesting. That was going somewhere, and then all of a sudden it took a turn to the left. I was like, well, this is kind of it. Oh no, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Tangents.
Yeah.
Nothing there? Alright, well,
there.
Tune in everyone for the end of the show and I will tell you who the f*** said that. Welcome everyone, this is episode 230 and today is Wednesday the 12th of September. Welcome to the Aussie Gamers Express video game podcast. I am your host Snoogs and here with me are my always wonderful, sometimes different co-hosts Remutha and Grejio. I did have something written but then I kind of went off script and don't know where it went.
We're sometimes
how to
different.
read.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, there was a comedic value put in there for Greg, and then it just slipped my mind. How are you guys?
Good. You need some more practice at this.
Yeah, look, I'm getting there. I'm slowly destroying the wonderful thing that is the Aussie Gamers Express video game podcast, one show at a time. But we're having fun.
Yeah. Let it burn, I say.
Alright, well, before we start, here's this week's show in preview. First up, we have video game discussion. Then we have What's That Sound, Love Handles, and Last Words. Relatively short show this week. I think we've all been pretty flat out, so nice quick one, and on to the next loving week. So, let's get into it with video game discussion. Alright guys, so video game discussion. First things first that I wanted to get into, I put up a post today about the recipe for Nuka-Cola with Fallout 76 just around the corner. And I have gone out on the way home this evening and picked up all the required bits and pieces and made up my little concoction. So I haven't had any yet.
Did you have to call up some Iranians?
No. No, there's apparently, okay, it is equal parts Coke, Mountain Dew, and creaming soda. So nothing I probably haven't done on a bender at a Pizza Hut or something. But I thought I'd have a bit of a crack this afternoon and actually see what it was like officially, you know. So
for science.
For science. That's exactly right. That's what I told the wife when I come home with 3 bottles of soft drink.
She just looked at you and went, diet's going out the window this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it might be. That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
So did you pour it all into a cup, or did you just take all 2-litre bowls and pour them into a bucket?
I poured it into a pint.
Right.
So I've got a pint of it with a couple of bits of ice. Some vodka would make it really nice, actually.
I'm going to say, I hope that you really like it, since you've got a whole pint to get through.
Yeah. Well, if not, I wouldn't have any second thoughts about throwing it out the window. But that's not bad. He says as he puts it down to leave for later in the show.
When the vodka is available.
Yeah, I got the sugar hit. So yes,
good until next week.
Yeah, I'll be right. I don't need to sleep again this century. But I don't actually have a lot of stuff to talk about this week, gaming-wise. How about you guys?
News-wise, it's been pretty quiet. I've got a couple. But I guess first thing we should probably talk about, because you and I have the ability to talk about it, is we played the Battlefield 5 open beta on the weekend.
Yes, we did.
And I'm going to say I really enjoyed it.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. I actually really, really enjoyed it. I played it a lot more than I ever really thought I was going to.
Same, definitely. I mean, to put it into perspective, I've never really been a big Battlefield fan, not for a very long time. Way back when, like 1945 or whatever it is?
42, wasn't it?
42.
Yeah.
45 probably was a bit late. The war was ended by then. 42. The whole D-Day landing and the Battle of Stalingrad. That game, I love that game. I haven't really played a Battlefield that I've really enjoyed, and I got close with one, but it wasn't enough for me to go, oh wow, this is well worth me spending some serious time playing. However, with this one, I really enjoyed it. I found it really accessible. You know how with Battlefields, people that really enjoy Battlefield are the people that play Battlefield all the time because they're used to the meta, they're used to the feel. This I found I had the ability to get into the game, and I didn't feel like I was behind the eight ball, so to speak. It felt intuitive and
100%. I do have some criticisms of it, and the criticisms solely come from, I think, my lack of experience in Battlefield and COD sort of games. Those are probably, the hitboxes, so to speak. The only real first-person shooters that I have played a heap of have been Destiny 2 now, and before that it was predominantly Rainbow Six Siege, which everything is very tight, very precise. You go to something like, Battlefield, where there was many times when I was shot when I was behind a corner, and I was shot from somewhere, and the hit marker come up, through a wall. So, being that it was a beta, I doubt people are going to be bothering with wall hacks, so that's not the first thought that it would go to. It was more that, I'm either the boxes are still, like the hitboxes are still catching me as I'm ducking back in behind that wall, or there's just, a bit of lag there or whatever it is. But that was probably the only real frustration I had over it. Other than that, the different game modes, the different tweaks on it, the massive maps, the half an hour to get through a firefight. I thought it was actually really good.
Yeah. The levels they had available were the big conquest style games that they really pushed with the last game, where you have almost multiple stages. Like you'll play out a couple of games or several games, and they're all attached to each other, and it just uses more and more of the map as you go along, kind of thing. So the one that we played, and I played predominantly for the Conquest, was like the Allies are landing on I think it's a Norwegian bank, so it's in the snow and the ice, and there's a big artillery barrage, and you're getting airdropped in the Germans, and you got to take out the German artillery barrage so you can then get your boats in. And that's the first segment of the game. And when you...
That was the one where you start on the hill with the anti-air guns, was it?
When I was playing with you, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we were the Germans when I played with you, and we were defending the artillery barrage, and those poor Allied sons of bitches were getting mowed from the bottom of the hill. Trust me, I played Allies before I started playing with you guys, and it's an uphill slog. I
played Allies as well, in one of the ones where I was on my little lonesome, and yes, definitely a slog, especially when you got a couple of battalions that are quite good with a sniper. As soon as you don't even, like, there was a couple of times where I didn't even land and I was getting laced.
Yep. So once you'd either taken out the artillery barrage or time run out, you move on to the next bit where they kind of just assume that the barrage has been overrun, even though the Germans might have won that round, just to progress the kind of story of the conquest on. And the Allies now have a forward beachhead, and they're trying to move into the town that essentially the Germans have occupied, this sort of town next to this sort of, harbour, if you will, and you were able to get planes and tanks onto the field, and yeah, you can drive through a building with a tank. I watched a dude at the very end of a level put a Spitfire through a building as a last-ditch effort to kill some Germans in that were hiding in a house.
That's actually a really good point to bring up too, because if anyone was hiding in the house and, you know, we had it done to us and we did it to others as well, it was, screw it, bring down the house.
Yeah, level the house. The amount of times I was sitting in a house sniping and I'd be in the attic, and then I just feel a rumble, and then all of a sudden I was in the basement because someone put a hole clean through the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, okay, this is no longer viable. Move on.
No camping for you.
Yeah, no camping for me. So, but yeah, look, I thought it was really enjoyable. It was a big map without being too big. Like, I've played some previous Battlefields where the maps are huge and the sniping is ridiculous. Like, spawn camping is ridiculous in some previous games where you'd literally walk outside of your spawn point and there'd be snipers from the other side of the map that you can't physically see with your eye nailing you. And look, I'm not saying that this won't go that way in a couple of months' time after you get all those Battlefield pros learning all the maps and stuff like that, but at the moment it felt good because it felt like everyone was on an even playing field. Moving away from the kind of gameplay, they showed us a little bit of the customization based around your characters and weapons and vehicles. The little bits are there, so you'll be able to you'll have, like, it'll list all the vehicles that you can play as. There's an ability to switch in. You'll be able to have 3 land vehicles and 3 aircraft in rotation. I don't exactly know what that means for the game. It didn't seem to have any sort of value in the modes that we were playing, but there seems to be, you can pick and have them preloaded, so maybe there's something to do with kill streak rewards or something. I'm not sure. Maybe that's something to do with it, and you can customize them in some ways. The same with your weapons. There's not only scopes and stuff you can add to your weapons to make them more effective, but there's also some cosmetic upgrades you can do to, you know, there's like a jungle sort of camouflage kind of looking stuff on it, and there's
all the usual sort of stuff that you get once you start grinding away at it.
And you know, lots and so many melee weapons. Oh my goodness. Did you look at the list of melee weapons that are available that you can so you start off with just your basic knife for stabby action. Mm-hmm. But did you look at the rest of the list of melee weapons you can then essentially choose from? Mate,
because of my noobish ways when it comes to Battlefield games, whether they be Battlefield, Battlefront, you know, those sort of stuff around that EA world, I could not work out how to do anything in that game. It's just completely. I'm sure to someone who's played it before or played that style before, it's very intuitive. It's very easy to get around. To me, it was someone else just invite me to a game.
Unfortunately, I think, and I don't know whether this will stay when they release the game fully or whether this was just a beta thing. You couldn't do any of those changes while you were in the game. It was in the main menu, and you had to go down and change, like, pre-select all this stuff. Now there wasn't
the main menu was no good for me.
Really?
Yeah, it just was completely different to what I'd done or what I was used to. So I had a few plays around with it, got frustrated, swore, see you later.
Sure. I mean, I did the same thing. I just got to the menu, and after my first playthrough, before I quit out, I went, oh, what are all these other things in the menu? And I just went through them individually and just checked out everything that was in them. Anyway, so the melee weapon list is extensive. Like, it almost makes the weapons that were available for, like, guns-wise in the beta was smaller than the list of melee weapons that were available in the beta. They had everything from knives, machetes, axes, meat cleavers, batons, you name it. There possibly was a shovel as well there, Kaz. Yeah, look, there was everything. There was a ridiculous list of things to bludgeon or carve up or hack people to death with. So,
that true battlefield experience. Well,
yes.
speaking of Kaz, we'll say a quick g'day to the chat. So we've got Kazza and Skrill have joined us for this evening. G'day, guys. Hope you're having fun. Thanks for dropping in. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the start. Hopefully we're all coming through loud and clear now. Rem, you've been floating around with much this week. Have you got some more cocaine for us to divulge into?
I sound like the dodgiest dealer ever now.
I know, right?
Yes. This week I've sort of been playing around with a few new ones. We all sort of got into whole IO ages ago when Lucas got us onto it. There's a very similar one called Big Big Baller. Instead of basically increasing the size of the hole to make everything fall into it, your big ball rolls across the map and sort of picks things up, but you have to be a certain size to pick up the larger objects. So same idea. So that's, equally as addictive as hole. And the other one that has been absolutely pissing me off is Impossible Bottle Flip.
Impossible Bottle Flip.
Impossible Bottle Flip. So we all know what a bottle flip is, obviously. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is fucking annoying. First level, rage quit. So you've got all these different bits of furniture that you've got to bottle flip across. You can only land on certain parts of it. You can't land just anywhere. And you've got to get as far as you can through the level. Bottle flipping, landing on, like, precarious little ledges or other bottles. It's just, it's rage-inducing, but it's still worthwhile. I'd still check it out. So that's probably the other one that's been taking up most of my time this week. Other than that, I'm just sticking to my true puzzles and loving it.
Nice. I just had a thought for a good mobile game, and patent pending. No one's allowed to steal it.
TM.
Do you guys remember, or did you ever play Flick Footy when you were younger?
Oh, yeah.
With the coin.
Or you play it with a coin, or we used to make like a paper triangle that you'd coat with 1,000 layers of sticky tape. There, look, Kaz has got it right, the paper triangle. Yeah. You could turn that into a bit of a game.
For sure.
They have
That'd
it.
be great.
What?
Oh.
Someone's... Look at that.
Snap for that.
30 seconds, they've already stolen my idea.
Yeah.
All right. If I knew where my phone was, I'd check it. So I'll have to have a look later. Well, probably the... Actually, before I get into my other big game, I've actually got a bit of cool news that I received today. So, unfortunately, this is something that's happening in the UK, but because it's kind of a bit of a feel-good story, it kind of warrants that we spread the word. So, a leading charitable organisation from the UK called War Child is teaming up with Bethesda Softworks Metropolis Music to present Bethesda Game Studios in Concert. A night dedicated to live music from the award-winning video game developer at the London Eventum Apollo. And that's happening Saturday the 3rd of November. Featuring tracks from Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Skyrim, and, of course, Fallout 76, along with some bit of a surprises. And the big thing about it, so War Child UK is a charitable organisation that's its primary goal is to make sure that no child is affected by war, whether it be homelessness, famine, disease, all that sort of stuff that unfortunately happens. Every proceed from the ticket sales is actually going straight to the charity. So it's a 100% charitable night, which I thought was a bit nice and something a bit nice to share with so much negativity going on.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Is the surprise Andrew WK?
You know, when I was reading this today, I was hoping for that. Because could you imagine, a symphony orchestra playing with Andrew WK? That would be kind of sick. I hope we get some video or some footage or something of it. If we do, I'll be sure to share it with everyone. But it's fingers crossed we do, actually. I might hit them up, see if they can do it for us. And if Andrew WK's there, definitely show us that bit. See if we can find someone else asleep in the crowd.
Well, have you been playing Fortnite lately, Mr. Snoogs?
Yeah, possibly.
Did you know on PlayStation Plus they're having an offer for Fortnite at the moment?
No.
So they have the PlayStation Plus Celebration Pack coming for Fortnite. It gives you a flappy glider, controller pickaxe, and skydiving trail. Obviously all cosmetics on item, for free on PlayStation. So if anyone's playing on PlayStation, which I think sadly you're not.
Nope.
If anyone on PlayStation, you can go and grab that now from PlayStation Plus.
Not many people play it on PlayStation when compared to the Xbox.
No, yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it?
Well,
Xbox has walked away with that one.
you say that, but I think I know where people are going to start playing it, and it won't be on Xbox, and it won't be on PlayStation.
Oh, it's PC.
Won't be on Switch.
Won't be on Switch, and it won't be on PC either. I've got
Mobile?
a hot tip. Not on mobile. If you're sick of playing Fortnite on all those things, I've found the hot new place to play it.
The shitter.
You want to know?
Yeah.
On your family dining table.
People still have that?
Well,
Not once
they're
they start
about
playing
to.
Fortnite there, they won't.
Fortnite are bringing out, along with Parker Brothers and Hasbro, a Fortnite Monopoly.
Oh, God.
Now, before you say, oh God, it's probably too late for that, but this will be
just run
less
with it.
about capitalism and more about death. Funnily enough, because it's Fortnite.
But,
And not
okay.
Wolf of Wall Street. So the properties will be obviously replaced with places in the games like Tilted Towers and all that shit. And the
Bit of
pieces,
moist used to be good, yeah.
Yeah. the pieces will obviously be the skins that you can choose within the game. That's kind of where the Monopoly similarities begin to stop. You'll be playing with two dice. Now, one of the dice will be a movement dice, and the other dice will be an action dice. The properties will be no longer bought up. It'll just be pretty much first come, first serve kind of scenario. And when you land on it, you have the opportunity to do an action. Now, these actions include shooting another player, building a wall to defend, dropping the booger bomb or whatever the hell I think that thing's called.
The
to
boogie
sort
bomb.
of lay the boogie bomb as like a...
Not the booger bomb. You don't throw it at someone's feet and it explode in a ball of snot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You do the boogie, you
What?
know? You blame it on the sunshine or the moonlight, but you can blame it on the boogie.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
was taking the piss, but anyway.
Oh, no, my eldest has been singing Blame It on the Boogie all afternoon.
I bet. So, yeah, you can drop a boogie bomb, which I believe acts kind of like a trap, or you can heal yourself. Now, you can only shoot someone that's on the same side of the board as you are, and there's no longer money involved, but health points. And once you run out of health points, you're out of the game. So, it's pretty much last person standing Monopoly.
I'm so hitting someone up to get an early look at that.
I told you, this is where the kids are going, man.
That's-
D&D is kind of making a comeback by the sounds of it. This would be the foray into it. This is like the gateway drug to D&D.
The gateway to D&D. Oh, God. I'm lost. I'm lost for words now. Oh, could you imagine the rages?
Oh,
Could you imagine, like, a family
Also,
with,
they're just normally
with, like,
Monopoly.
well, Monopoly's bad enough for itself. My wife and I were talking about Monopoly on the weekend. I went and picked up Joking Hazard, which for those that don't know is like Cards Against Humanity. But picture version of it. And we're talking about, games and board games and stuff like that. And we worked out that my wife and I have played Monopoly together once, and it went for about 4 turns. And that was enough for us to rage and go, "That's it, I'm done," packed up and put it away. It hasn't come out to see the light of day since. So I'm just picturing in my head, a family with teenage children, or that sort of that preteen era where the kids know how to get angry but don't really know how to stop it.
No, I have a worse scenario than preteen kids.
Mm.
Me and my brothers.
Oh God, no! That people would pay to see that.
It would be a blood sport. I mean, both of you have witnessed me and my brothers play Risk, so
yeah, that's something else.
and that has been known to have the board fly through the room, and have to spend the next 20 minutes finding pieces on the floor.
Yep, everyone to their corners.
Yep. So
I'm gonna try and make that happen. That'll be brilliant, and I'll film it.
And my mother will murder you.
Yes, yes, she will.
Yeah, this is your fault.
Yes, she will. That's all right. I'll be nice. I reckon I'll get outrun her. Maybe.
Maybe.
She'll have more willpower.
Yeah, that's the bit that worries me. Monopoly started World War II from Radicus. G'day, Radicus. Welcome.
Yay.
I'm picturing made my wife want to chop my nuts off. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Well, mate, onto the other big thing that I've been playing this week is, just for you, Greg, Forsaken from Destiny 2.
I have some news about that too.
I'm sure you do. There's actually a lot of news going around, probably because it's a bit of a flavour of the moment. But first things first, the storytelling. So I really am bad with these sorts of games. I start playing the story and go, oh look, there's a public event, and then I spend the next 4 hours doing public events and playing Crucible. That's been a lot of fun. That's been tweaked. But the story. So I've played the first sort of section of it. For anyone that doesn't want to hear, I'm not going to really do any slight spoilers, anything more than what's already been shown within the media and it's sort of common knowledge. Cade's death scene and the way that they portray Cade's death, it was really well done. It made you, because in the build up towards it, everyone knew that it was Cade's last stand. It was, it was the way. So the way that he was going to go out was in this sort of moment. So you knew what was coming, but that made it so much more real, I suppose you would say, and made you push to get to it. And the way that it was done, it was brilliantly done. He went down the way that you would expect him to go down, and it was just, I just can't say enough about it. The overall game itself, though, the way that they've constructed this new section can be taken 2 very different ways. You can say that it's a different style of doing it. It's a new open area. It's a new place to explore. It's got all these new bits and pieces and new style of characters and whatnot. Then you can sort of flip it on its head as well and go, they're just doing it this way to prolong the grind. It's not really necessary to do it like that, but it's been done to prolong the way that you go through the story. So you've got those 2 sort of things to think about, but so far I'm the better side of it. I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the refresh, the new feel, the new grind, I suppose you would say. I've got my Titan up around the I think the 480 mark light level now. Greg, what about your news?
I'd like to say that this is a surprise, but this is Destiny, and it's not.
Nope.
So, Forsaken came out, and in true fashion, people went hunting And 4 days before the raid was released, a bunch of people found the environment glitch in Ria Silvia.
Yep.
Where you could then travel underground, reach the raid lair, found a loot box, opened said loot box, and got raid gear.
Yes.
4 days early.
Yes.
No muss, no fuss. That's the end of it. So, Destiny has since suppressed the chest until it can fix up how it's attached to the raid. However, they've also said, in true Destiny style, we're not going to rescind any loot that's been received by those people that have exploited it, because, it's Destiny. That's what people do all the time. I mean, we were still glitching Crota until the very last day, so, it's just the way it is.
There has been talk from certain people within the Destiny community, however, that those that have glitched it and got the armor early and got that higher light level, later on down the track it will actually impact them pretty badly in regards to your are they exotic engrams?
Oh, really?
Yeah, something along that. Because the way, so your soft cap level's 500, and then you've got to do, your rage, your prestige nightfalls and all that sort of jazz, and certain things within the Crucible and Gambit to get that higher rated gear. And you've got your drop rates, so to speak. So people that have gone through and farmed that gear early, their drop rates plummet, because obviously the more gear that you've got, the lower your chance gets to get the final piece, sort of thing. The way that something along those lines.
It's such a Bungie Destiny thing to do, just to turn the game into a grind. And
yeah, I just wish I'd found it before they turned it off.
I find that kind of mechanic really underhanded, and it's what really essentially ends up pissing people off, because they realise that the game is working against them the entire time.
So
even for those just playing the game normally, that's still undermining your ability to get pieces that you need.
Yeah, exactly.
All for the sake of extending the life of the game. That's yes. Anyway, look, I'm not going to sit here and bash it. I mean, everyone is well aware of how I feel about Destiny these days. So
yeah, we've heard it a couple of times now.
Yeah. So when I saw this, I went, I'm just going to report it, and I'm going to leave it there on the table and walk away.
Just back away slowly.
Well, I was actually annoyed because I've got the higher light level now. So before I hit the 400 mark, I thought I'll try and get Eater of Worlds out of the way, because I've never completed the raid, but it's not there. It's gone. Eater of Worlds, I can't go, and Trials has been turned off for a little while. So I need 3 more trophies to get the platinum, which is finish the Eater of Worlds raid, finish it on Prestige, and the Trials of the 9 trophy, because I was never able to get on the PlayStation 4 a team together to do the Trials. Radicus telling us all that Destiny's for people who have no real friends. Thanks, mate.
That's not true. I have a lot. I've met a lot of friends through Destiny. I have a large circle of friends thanks to my Destiny community. And to be fair, it's kind of why I'm actually so bitter about it, is because some of my best gaming time has been on that game. So, anyway, let's not go down that path again.
But speaking of that though, a big shout out to Grey Wolf. I was in a clan that consisted of people. Predominantly, there was a couple of people from Asia and the west coast of Australia that were doing a lot and were helping me through a lot of different things, and that's who I was doing, trying to get through the raid a couple of times with. But time zone just made it difficult, so I left. I said thanks guys, but I'm not going to drag the clan down because I'm not going to be doing as much. I left before I bought the Forsaken update, and then Grey Wolf said, mate, look, you haven't got a clan, I'll I'll talk to the guys that I run with, and next thing you know, I get an invite through, and I've joined them as well. So thank you very much to that. There's been a few. I haven't actually played it with Grey Wolf yet, but I've played it with a few other people, which all seems to be a good group. So it's good fun. But that's
what really makes or breaks the game, I think, is clans. Running with a good group. That's what makes Destiny good. And if you don't have that, it really does suffer.
Yeah. For all its faults, Destiny really does have a great community. And
Exactly.
And to be fair, it's the benchmark for communities, in my opinion. There's a lot of games that need to step up their game and be as good a community as the Destiny community is. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I've always really enjoyed. Anyone's pretty open to you just jumping in the fire team with them, and especially if they're in the middle of something and struggling a little bit, jumping in and helping out and finishing it off. They seem to be rather accepting of that, which is always a bonus. But that's it from me, guys. Like I said, I don't have a lot this week.
I've got one more actually.
Yeah, go for it.
Steam is allowing, for the first time, uncensored adult material games.
Do we have names?
Look, not. I didn't write a list of them. No.
Letting the team down.
However,
Recommendations list.
however, been a fair few games now that have been sitting on Steam's sort of back shelf, so to speak. I'm really trying to choose the right words without it becoming a filthy pun here. So it's been sitting out the back, waiting for their opportunity. And the only reason that Steam hasn't put them on is because they haven't had the ability or the tools in their system to give people the ability to filter out things based around adult content. They've had filters around violence, but nothing around sexual or other sort of adult content games. Now that that's in place, there's going to be a few more games that are coming out, and essentially the way that Steam's allowing them to come in is they have to fill out a content survey, which sort of is, I guess, a similar scenario to rating system we have in Australia, where you can now fill out a content survey and send it into the ratings review board, and they can go off that survey kind of thing. Sort of speeds up the process in a sense. So anyway, while I didn't write down a list of games,
Well, apparently Radicus has got one.
Yeah.
Bambi Goes Crazy, Sex and Violence.
No, this one had nothing to do with Bambi.
No.
The one that they were talking about in the article I read was to do, I think, what was it called? I do remember. It's called Negligee.
Ooh.
It was a lingerie-based exotic adventure.
I just made that a lot filthier than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Look,
the
picture for the game made it a lot more filthy than it needed to be.
I'm thinking Leisure Suit Larry.
Is the two of the largest breasted anime females in literally underwear, and one of them is eating.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave that there.
Eating sushi, and has spilt it on the other one.
Should have just left it. We could have left that on a major pun. It was eating.
I thought I left it. I thought by saying what I said was enough of a pun. She was eating sushi with another chick.
Well, that works too. But this opens the door for so many things, like Leisure Suit Larry VR.
No.
Yes. Yes. Wow.
Oh, God.
Look, I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah,
If the idea of
Yep.
Leisure Suit Larry VR gets your motor running,
I think it'd be hysterical.
It will be hysterical.
Who cares about the motor running? It'd be hysterical. I don't know whether it'd be
I'm
funny
agreeing with
you
you on
playing
that.
it or
Probably.
someone watching you play it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry,
I really wanna go
someone
there.
watching you play it that doesn't know what you're playing.
Yeah. Probably that.
Wow. Yeah.
That'd be it.
I'm leaving that well alone.
The missus walks in the door, you're playing Leisure Suit Larry VR. What the fuck?
The problem is, I know how you play games and what you wear when you play games, and that's just fucking disturbing.
I've gotten better, but I'd probably be pretty bad doing that, yeah.
Because I know you'd be in like your boxer shorts, so you'd be like, yeah, no, that's fucked up.
Yeah. That'd just be a turn around and walk. For leisure suit, Larry, I'd probably dress it up a bit with a mankini.
Put some effort in.
Yeah.
It would definitely be an effort trying to get you into a mankini.
It'd be an effort getting me out.
No, sharp knife. and some safety glasses so you don't put down an eye.
Oh, gee. Single use only one.
Yes, you play guitar on that thing.
And it'd be high notes, not low notes.
Nope. Oh, God. Phrasing.
Just come back from the gutter, hit the rock bottom now.
Yep.
Radicus says, put a condom on your joystick. Yeah, probably.
Phrasing.
Especially the Rumble Pack one.
Oh, it just keeps going.
Let's get it. Let's get out. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it.
Run away. What else you got?
Well,
yeah.
speaking of things you don't want to see.
The voice of reason. Yeah, okay. Rem.
No, I wasn't going to be the voice of reason. I was going to say, look, whatever dirty Steam games you guys download, let us know in Discord and Facebook and whatnot. We can all secretly go and look at them ourselves, but shame you publicly.
Right.
I wouldn't shame you publicly.
Yeah. For research. It's only for research. That's right, Screw.
I'd pat you on the back and go, good work. I give you the Chuck Norris thumbs up.
Rem, get us out of this. Come on, do the voice of reason.
Yeah.
You're the adult here. Quick.
All right. So, Grejio, you know how you loved climbing towers in Assassin's Creed? And that's probably still a little bit double entendre.
I know how much you like climbing towers in Assassin's Creed.
It's all about exploration. They're bringing that back with Odyssey, not so much with the tower climbing, but with what they're calling exploration mode. You're going to have two gameplay modes. One's guided mode, which will show all the markers on the map for every activity, as you have in Origins currently. And then if you want to choose exploration mode, it sort of goes back to the old Assassin's Creed style, where it gives you clues, for lack of a better word, on where you can find activities. So you're going to be back to unlocking the map. What's your thoughts on this?
So, hang on. How do you unlock the map? Are you still doing sync points to unlock and find where stuff is?
They haven't given a great amount of detail on how that's going to work yet. Like I said, they're saying providing clues. So I'm going to say you're probably following a trail of a...
See, so my problem with that is that kind of negates the whole sync point thing, doesn't it? Because the only real use, except for like in Origins where it ranked up Senu, the only other reason you do it is to reveal stuff on the map. So if that's not helping you reveal stuff on the map, why you bother climbing towers now anyway? You wouldn't go bother doing sync points anymore. It doesn't seem to have any sort of use. They're kind of nullifying a core staple of the game.
Well, yeah, possibly, I guess. I guess it sort of provides the option of playing the way that people used to within Assassin's Creed. If you preferred that style of being able to find the sync points and unlock that way, I suppose that's probably where they're going with it, really.
Obviously, it's obviously been too long since I played the original Assassin's Creed. I thought that's what you did in the original Assassin's Creed anyway. You climbed up to a tower, bird goes around now, and you go into the thing of hay, and voila, you've got a whole bunch of things to do now, and you go run around, do them, and then you go in the next area and rinse and repeat.
Yes.
So I'm kind of confused what the difference is.
Did you have it in Origins?
No, not so much. You'd unlock some question marks, I guess, which sort of give you a location of like main areas, but you're unlocking it by proxy. So as you get close, you'll find what that area is. Whereas in the old games, you didn't have to do that. You would literally be shown as soon as you synced up.
All right, so this is showing you the areas. Like, it's showing you the area with a bunch of question marks instead of the area with a bunch of tasks.
Yes. So it's...
So you won't know what you're actually running to until you get to it.
So pretty much you're back to having to climb up a tower to sync the area.
Yeah, I guess
Is that
what
right?
the impression that I'm getting from it is that, so in Origins, you'll be looking, get close to each individual task to reveal what that is, whether it's like a hideout or a treasure or rocks or something like that, stone circle. Whereas in the old style, it would give you all those items revealed from one sync point rather than having to go to each individual one to see what it is. The imagery that they've sent through of the screenshot of that menu is saying that this is the way that they intend for the game to be played. So in other words, they want to dial back to that rather than having to go to the Origins method of proxy to each individual location or task.
Right. Okay. I understand. I understand now. So Origins is essentially exploration mode now. When you do the thing, it just brings up a bunch of question marks, and you've got to run around and work out what all the question marks are. That's what Origins does now, right?
That is what Origins does. Yep.
And now what they're trying to do is bring it back to jump up on the tower, look around, and then instead of a bunch of question marks, it just tells you everything that you're doing.
Yeah. So guided mode is all markers shown on the map, and exploration mode is the game will provide the players with clues to find them.
So just question marks.
Yes.
All right. So which way are they intending that it should have been played?
Question marks
or markers? Okay, question marks.
Yeah.
So they want to move it to Origins, as a more Origins feel.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Fine. Sure.
Thoroughly confused you.
Thanks, Ubisoft, for telling us nothing, essentially. For pretty much making the game exactly how you made the last one. Kinda. Awesome.
Options, though. Options, right?
Options.
All right. The other piece of... Sorry.
I was going to say, Kaz has actually put in the chat as well that Spider-Man has the same concept, which I believe you go to the Oswald Towers to reveal the new areas and the new bits and pieces.
Right. Nice.
Speaking of, have any of you guys played Spider-Man yet?
I was just about to ask the same question.
Not yet.
I haven't.
No.
Not yet. Oh,
No.
PlayStation's sitting there taunting me.
Yes.
Am I the only one that does not care?
Look,
well,
I'm not heavily invested, but I'm curious.
I'm not heavily invested for the sole fact that Spider-Man, as a character, kind of annoys me.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
But
He's been a dickhead since after the 90s. The 90s was the last time Spider-Man was cool. I'm sorry. Been a dickhead.
Such hate.
Fair enough. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan. That's fine. Luke has played it. He might even jump in here and throw his 2 cents in. But Lucas sold it for me. I talked to him about it a few times, and if he doesn't like, he's very cut and dry with what he likes and what he doesn't like, as we've seen numerous times over the years. Mm-hmm. And he's nothing but praise, absolute nothing but praise for it. So, being that he's been so for it, I've been caught up in a bit of his want, I suppose. It's he's been wanting to push through it and keep going. So I've got to give it at least a try.
Absolutely.
Which
I'm in the same boat. Yeah,
yep.
I'm curious, and I want to see what it's like, considering it seems to be what the Spider-Man game should have been years back. At least that seems to be the general opinion. And I mean, the graphics in it look amazing, and I'm a bit of a sucker for a game with good graphics. So
yeah, being that it looks pretty, it kind of helps. I'll get there once I avenge Cade.
Yes, first things first.
Yes, I must avenge him.
G'day everyone, editing Lucas here. Yes, I will jump in and talk about Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4. Now, yeah, okay, what was it? Spider-Man kind of annoys me. There's a quote there. I think that one was from Snoogs. And he's been a dickhead since the 90s. I think that was Grejio that said that. Look, prior to playing Spider-Man just recently on the PlayStation 4, I may have kind of agreed with that. Seen the Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi versions of the Spider-Man movies. I liked them, but they kind of got a bit weird towards the end. Playing the older Spider-Man games, there's one on the PS4 that came out in 2014. That was horrible. That was a hot mess of garbage. Prior to that, they weren't very good. Spider-Man's a really hard superhero to pull off, whether it be just the gameplay, that's hard to do, but the character himself as well can come across as an annoying little twerp. But throw that all out of the window, because I have finished the entire campaign of the new Spider-Man game, and I have a newfound love for Spider-Man. I respect him, Peter Parker, I respect the character of Spider-Man, and I respect the story of all of the surrounding characters. They've made Spider-Man grow up in the new Spider-Man game, and it is completely left of centre when it comes to the Spider-Man story. It's still the same story that we know and love. It's not an origin story. It is amazing. It will pull at heartstrings. It will hit hard. They obviously haven't been afraid to do things that are controversial for the sake of a good story. Now, that's all I'm going to say about it. I absolutely love it. I have just, literally while I'm editing this podcast, uploaded my Spider-Man review, and that's available on the Aussie Gamers Express YouTube channel right now. Check the podcast description for the link there, or just go to YouTube and search for it, Aussie Gamers Express. Give us a subscribe and a like if you don't mind, but links are all there if you couldn't be bothered looking for it or anything like that. But that's it from Editing Lucas. I'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of the podcast.
All right.
Sorry, what else you got?
Last bit for me.
Yep.
As of today, EB Games has launched their brand new Zero Regrets trade policy. So this was sort of time back. If you haven't heard what it is, it's basically that you can trade in any game. So this is software only, no hardware. EB Games then allows you to buy that game back at any time, weeks, months, years later, for the same amount that you traded it in for, or less if it's on sale. So you're not losing out too badly in that.
This just says to me, like, it's a great idea. It is, I'll second that. But it also says that they're going to slash how much they're going to give you for your trading.
Yeah. Yes, there is the danger of that, isn't there?
I'd prefer to just take the risk that I might want to have to buy it back at more than I got the trade-in for, but still get a decent trade-in.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, it'd be nice if, I guess you can't really guarantee for games that you've had for a while, but if you had like a newer game, say it just is absolutely shitting you and you don't want it anymore, if you could basically get money back on that, if it was sort of guaranteed on that, that would be amazing. But yeah, you're right, this does give them ability to sort of go, oh, well, you can buy it back at this price, but we're only going to give you this much.
Kaz, I traded in my brand new copy of Gears of War 4 because at EB Expo last year I bought the motorbike edition. So it was still in its packaging with all the little bits and bobs and all the codes still intact, and I got $12 for it.
Woo!
Wow.
Needless
Hey,
to
big
say,
spender.
I went no thank you, and there was a kid that was looking at it over the road, and he gave me $20 for it, and I went, there you go, mate, enjoy.
The other part of this, I should say, is that if you want to do this, you do need to be an EB World member, so you need to have your membership sorted. But the part that made me laugh the most about this is the or less if it's on sale. I mean, when has EB Games never been on sale? This is,
Yes.
always. Oh, sorry, we're on sale again. Still.
Speaking of, they do have a decent deal on at the moment with the Xbox One X, if you've got a One S that you want to get rid of. I think it's an Xbox One S, 2 games, and $200.
If only I had an S. I'm really disappointed we didn't get a trade-in on the OG Xbox Ones.
I'm not. We got kick-ass looking OG Xbox One.
Yeah, you've got awesome ones.
Collectors now.
They will be.
And look, they
Once
still
you dust them
work.
off.
They still work just as well.
They may only be for show soon with the amount of dust that's on them.
She'll be right.
They're going to cook.
She'll be right.
Just give it to Luke, he can do a clean-out video for you.
Yeah.
So, anything else, guys?
That's it.
That's it?
No, I'm spent.
Alrighty. Well, that's been video game discussion. On to What's That Sound? Alrighty. What's That Sound was a bit of a tricky one last week. I told you guys after the podcast what it was, And a day or so ago, Lucas put up on Twitter that he knew what it was, but asked for a hint. Now, originally I wasn't going to give him one, but then I gave him the tiniest little hint that was him and I had the same opinion of this piece of the game. Here's last week's What's That Sound? Kaz, you don't count. You heard it last week. No, Radicus, it's not Half-Life. In fact, I have to say it's one of the coolest moments that I've seen in a long time in video games. It is a part in Detroit Become Human when Marcus is in a junkyard and he has to repair himself. So it's that's probably as much as I'm going to say, because if you're still playing through it, if you're still playing through it, it's very early on in the game, but he's got to repair himself. That's probably enough for that.
Yeah,
so,
you'll know it when you see it.
So, all right, you guys ready for this week's one? I've got a bit of an easier one this week because I've just been ridiculously flat out with work, so haven't been able to troll through and find one overly hard. But here you go. Let us know what you think this is when it plays.
Guys, I just want to talk about shooting you with this gun, which I'm going to do when we're done talking.
Oh, it's quiet.
It was quiet, but I recognise the voice.
Kazakola said Deadpool.
It is not Deadpool.
All right, hold on a sec. I'll see if I don't want to play with these levels too much because I got them right before the show. But hold on 2 secs. I'll see if this makes it any better.
Guys, I just want to talk about shooting you with this gun, which I'm going to do when we're done talking.
That come through better?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
And I haven't changed my opinion. I know who it is.
No, Radicus, it's not Red Dead.
No, it's not.
Rem, you got any ideas?
All I can think of is like or something, but I don't think that's it.
Well, that's who I thought it was.
It sounds maniacal, like would be.
Sounds maniacal. All right, hold on 2 secs. I'll play it one more time.
Guys, I just want to talk about shooting you with this gun, which I'm going to do when we're done talking.
Let's put it this way. If it's not it's the same, it's the guy that voices the Joker in the game. It's the same dude.
Well, if you'd like to say it a few more times, so Luke's got to beep it out. Go for it.
Got to spread these out, so he has to do lots.
Well, there you go. If you playing along at home knows what this week's What's That Sound is, be sure to jump on over to our Facebook page and let us know, or send us a direct message on Discord. Wait. Yes, Kaz. it might have been. It might have been Kaz. So, all right. On to a bit of an old segment we haven't had for a little while. Let's move on to Love Handles.
Grab on, baby.
All right, Greg, do you want to fill us in again what Love Handles is supposed to be about?
Before we destroy it.
So what? How about this? So Love Handles, when I came up with it, was designed to give credit to those that had spent just a little bit of time trying to come up with a clever gamer tag, something that was, well thought out, intelligent. I said to my fellow co-hosts, I want to make a segment about really good gamer tags we see out there. When the first segment arose on the podcast, it was less about intelligent and amusing, well thought out, amusing names and more just
Spank my sloth.
Spank my sloth and, titty nipple boobs and stuff like that. So, it went downhill fast. Yeah, so come along. And I was broken. My will was broken at that point. It devastated me. However, since my co-hosts have pretty much redefined the paradigm for this segment, it's just any gamer tag we find amusing, whether it be on an intellectual level or a 6-year-old fart joke level. So, like poop sniffer and moot sniffer, and there's clearly a lot of sniffers in the chat at the moment. So...
Yeah, well, the main reason that this has popped back into the rotation this week was courtesy of Skrill, letting us know some great names that have come out, courtesy of Call of Duty. So I'll run through a couple that we've got there. So Satan's Realtor, which is not too bad, followed very closely by Juicy Sack. The big one that we've heard already, which was Moot Sniffer.
Hello again, editing Lucas here. If I may interject. Now look, I'm no expert on the matter, but I believe that's pronounced Moot. If you're an Australian, like I am, I believe that is how we pronounce Moot. Back to you guys.
Which I thought was was quite good. It was right up there, wasn't it?
It was down there is probably what I would describe it as. But.
Probably along the same levels there, yeah. Have you guys got any this week? Or I've found some... I found a couple while playing Battlefield, funnily enough.
Oh, that's not surprising.
Look, I haven't had any late. To be fair, I haven't had any for a while. Where I've gone, wow, that was incredibly clever. However, I was playing Battlefield on the weekend with you, and apparently I killed someone, and I didn't really pay attention to who I killed. I just killed them and moved on, and Rem said, hey, can you just record that? I'm like, why? And she's like, just whenever you get a chance, just record it. You'll catch the name of that dude. I said, did you catch the name of that dude? And I went, no. Anyway, I pressed record blindly and kept playing. And then the next day I was like, oh yeah, I recorded that video. I wonder what she was talking about. And sure enough, there it was. So I can't remember what the name is now. And the video wasn't working when I went to check before the podcast started. But it was along the lines of, Booby McTitty Nipples. And I was just like, oh my goodness.
It's just proof that the COD player base is coming to Battlefield.
Yes, maybe that's it.
Yes, well, funnily enough, playing Battlefield, I came running around a corner, jumped over something and got spooked because there was an enemy player running the other way, and I just happened to get the jump on them, and then it came up, you have killed stick figure.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Nice.
Which was awesome. I then got a message from him just laughing. I'm like, gotcha! There's a couple in here that aren't too bad. There's the Aussie leprechaun, the chubby panda. That's probably another one. But the best one, we do have a sadistic sloth. The best one that come up over the weekend is Throbbing Ringhole.
Oh.
Jeez.
And yes, this was on the Xbox. See what happens when you allow people to change their names?
Yeah, it's never good.
It was never good when you make them when you're 12 either, but...
No.
Well, here's one that is probably on the non-PC list, along with a lot. Short Bus Romance.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, that's love handles. If you find any, let us know, because we always love...
I am truly sorry I ever came up with this. I really am.
Now I think it's a competition now to see how bad they get.
Yeah, who can find the worst one?
Well,
I feel like Oppenheimer right now. I'm like, I'm just here to end World War II. Yeah, well, thanks for making a nuclear bomb.
Effective, but not the best idea.
Sorry, atomic bomb. For those that want to get pedantic, but
Yes. Thank you to Skrill for reminding us all of it. That's it for Love Vandals. On to the last little bit, which is last words. Alright guys, do you want to know who the said that? Have you had any more thoughts of who it might have been?
no, not really.
No.
It's beyond me this week.
Alright. When you know, you'll understand. The day my father Odin banished me from Asgard, I was bitten by a vampire and had radioactive waste dumped into my eyes. To make matters worse, my mutant ability to control weather activated just as I was hit by a blast of gamma radiation. Now, if I was to tell you that it's a rather twisted yet topical character, would that
Donald
help
Trump?
at all? No, not Donald Trump.
To be fair, that could quite easily be a press statement from him.
Always
that could
topical
be.
as well.
It's always topical. It's actually Deadpool from Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Ah.
One of his little rants that he goes off on.
Yes.
I'm sorry. The only thing I remember from Deadpool is tiny hands.
Or tiny legs.
Tiny legs. Baby legs.
Baby legs.
Ugh.
I will forever remember what baby nuts on a grown man really looks like.
It reminds me of the Rick and Morty episode with the detective baby legs.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
We digress.
Yes. Yes, Skrill, straight shirt, dick.
We digressing.
Yep. All right, guys. We got any other last words?
18 days till Forza Horizon 4.
18. How many
18.
days is it for you?
15.
15.
46 days until Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ah, that's even better.
Yeah. Which means Grejio has about 20 days to get through Forza Horizon 3. 4?
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
4?
Done. Challenge accepted.
Well, I don't have any last words. Thank you guys for joining me, and thank you to the guys in the chat, Radicus, Skrill, and Kazakal. Thank you for everyone for dropping in. Well, there you go. Demo tonight of Forza Horizon 4. Apparently, you can play a demo. Is that sounding right?
That is possible. I haven't heard anything about it, but I will definitely look into it, and if it's true, you'll hear about it next week.
Black Ops beta this weekend.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but I think it's a closed beta. I think you need a pre-order.
Dodgy fucks.
Down to your local EB and pre-order it and cancel
Nah.
it. No?
No,
Still
if
won't do that?
they don't want... No, that's too much effort, and if they really don't... If they can't be asked, including me from the get-go, I'm not going to that much trouble. It's not worth it. The game is not worth it. Screw them.
Not worth the extra time.
It's not worth.
What, you don't want to pay $130 for it?
No.
Fuck you. This week's code word.
Yes.
Look, I've decided. I was thinking about this. The last couple of code words have become code phrases. I want to try and get back to code words because they're kind of getting a bit lengthy and somewhat crazy and hard to spell.
But code phrases sounds like a great segment.
Code phrases. Yeah.
Code phrases.
I'm not sure what it is. We've got a name for a segment. We'll fill it out. However, people had a bit of trouble spelling Euclid last week, so I'm going to try and stick with like one word that is fairly easy to spell. So I'm going with Raiden this week. Let's get back to a gaming word.
Nice. So there you go. This week's code word is Raiden. Put it anywhere. Twitch,
Yes.
YouTube, Facebook. What's this thing we're using? Discord. Anything. Put it, chuck it in there. Let us know. And that's it. Beautiful. All right.
Yes.
Two girls hentai eat sushi roll Oh, it's on Steam. Yeah. Thank you, Kaz. I'll just go and download that now. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you to everyone who is still listening this far through, especially because we've broken it down into a rabble a couple of times. Any more of the topics that you want to join in and have a say about, please do so either on our Facebook page or over on Discord. My Nuka-Cola is finished. It's done. I'm probably going to be up for days now, I think.
Energized.
I'm starting to see...
the radioactive bit about that drink? You're rude.
Yeah.
It's glow in the dark.
I'm starting to see colours. Oh, see noises now, so...
See noises and
smell
taste colours?
Yeah, see noises, taste colours, lose words. That's that's it. A special thanks to the guys that are listening live with us. A special thanks to you, Remutha and Greg, for everything. And we'll see you all for the next one. I've been Snoogs.
I've been Remutha.
And I have been Grejio.
Toodaloo.
Peace.
Well, here we are once again at the end of this week's show. If you're still hungry for more video game content, then head over to the Aussie Gamers Express Facebook page and give us a like. We also have a heavy presence over on Twitter and YouTube, and their links are waiting for you in the podcast description. This podcast is available for your convenience through Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and more. Thanks again for listening. Catch you all on the next episode of the Aussie Gamers Express Video Game Podcast.